Okay, we're recording now.
Yeah, I can see. Okay, cool, because it has that thing across the top. Yeah, so the we can record talking about Annie, but right now everybody's like gaming everybody on their
Totally.
decks, right? Yeah, because like it's such a like there's only maybe I don't know how many people are even going to play this league, but like let's just call it less than 10 people are going to play. The so you can like in Annie, you can really game your people because if you're like because okay, so for everybody who's listening, this we're running an Annie league that starts on January 30th. If you want to join, just message me and I'll get you in. But like if you know somebody's running 4 contracts, right? You would want to run just a play set of dreams.
So what you just said probably blew everyone's mind. So just maybe do an overview of this Any League is going to be different than the other Any Leagues you've done before, and you just said people running 4 contracts. I feel like you need to give some
Like
context on that one.
explain people who listen to this podcast probably know what a contract from below is. Okay,
No,
hold on. The
I'm talking about having 4 in your deck.
Oh, 4. Yeah. So if you for the 2 people who listen to this podcast, you guys both probably play in the Annie League. But the this year's Annie
Hi,
League, which
Eric, and then was it Hi George? Yeah, our
yeah,
two.
yeah,
Hi
like
guys.
literally 2 people. I can actually look and see how many people have listened to this podcast, but not specifically like I can see like for the demographics as well. So for instance, this is a side note, but I know that Mario listens to the podcast because there's one person from Germany who downloads our podcast. So I know that's him,
Hi
right?
Mario.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
uh so for this Annie League, so we did a couple over like the very first part of the pandemic, but this Annie League, the rule set is no ban list, no restricted list. So you can play whatever you want as long as it's EC play sets, right? So Alpha through Fallen Empires. Old border, old, like those original instructions. Just imagine EC, but without the banned and restricted list. You can just play what you want, and then add the Annie cards in, all 9 of them. So, so there's like maybe probably like I'd say 6 to 8 of us are going to do this league at the end of the day. And so you can game inside of the game, right? Like so if I don't give a fuck. I'm going to play 4 contracts. What I need to be prepared for is the guy who has dreams in his board and like turn 1 ritual dreams. Like that's a kill that shuts off your contracts unless you
yeah,
just
I
don't
saw
give a
some
shit.
discussion about that on Twitter where some guy's going to put like one in, and this Annie League is a legit Annie League, right? Where you
Yeah,
know
you
the
like actually send the cards. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but you can get an Italian dreams for like $25 shipped. So, and what are your odds? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to play anything super expensive. Like, I think I showed you. I'll just show you on the camera what I have set aside. I
Oh,
showed you my.
Eric, before you show me, so we're recording everything video. So this is the first time we're recording in this method.
Yeah,
Um, do you ever want to consider putting this on YouTube?
we can talk about it. But if I do that, I'll do it after we actually. I'll have to
Okay,
mess
I'll
around
keep it
with
for
that.
future episodes. I'm just saying before you show me on camera, keep
Yeah.
that.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, like, okay, so everybody knows I'm going to play 4 contracts. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
that's the
doubt.
bias ones there.
I think everybody's going to play 4 Sol Rings because why not? Four jeweled birds. That's like an absolute like nobody's not going to play 4 jeweled, right? So I
Please
think
tell me
that
you guys are gonna rock the Chronicles jeweled
I
birds time.
I am because I had an original one um that I bought back before they fucking spiked, and now like they're like I don't know like probably like $100 or some shit. The I mean the rest of the deck is just it's going to be like the cheap version of this card, right? Like I'm gonna play this, but without the power that goes with it.
Sure.
And hopefully that gets there. I think it'll be okay. I got to put in a backup way of winning, so I have like 2 ways of winning. Because what
So
I've learned is you can't just attack to win.
if you're gonna have 4 contract from belows in there, are you well actually what are the rules? Do you because you guys are 40 cards, right?
This is gonna be a 60 card league.
Oh, 60. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Can you go higher than 60?
yeah. It's like normal. It's like normal deck construction rules.
Because in the past it was 40, right?
Yeah, the last league was 40, and so the next so this league will be no ban list, no restricted, 60 card decks.
Mhm.
The next league is either going to be next year's will either be 40 or 60 card singleton.
Ooh. Another question for people listening to this: if you're hearing this right now, is it too late to join this event, or is it
No,
still?
we're starting on the 30th, and it's like casual as fuck. So I just need them to let me know before the actual 30th, and we can get them logged in and started.
So January 30th, 2022, unless, just in case you're listening at this at a weird time.
Yeah, 2022, the new year. So I think it'll be interesting, but like if people knew what I was playing, you could easily like throw like you can play main deck haymakers in Annie.
Yeah.
Because you just can. Like it's kind of weird. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So I played in, I want to say 2 of the previous incarnations, at least one. I want to say maybe 2. And it was always a blast. It was really fun actually, like mailing the cards out, drawing some cool stuff and sending to your friends. And the thing that I thought was the coolest and the weirdest, I guess a combination of the two, is realizing that like one of the most powerful cards in that format, the 40 card, was Feldon's Cane. So that ended up being like,
don't tell people the secret. Feldon's Cane, if you're not playing 2 of them, you're fucking wrong. Like flat out wrong.
Well, so in the past when it was 40 cards, right? Like there were some control decks like Festival and Holy Light and stuff that could stall you out and deck you. And that was the thing.
Yes.
But
that's Chris won that first one. That's how he did it.
And 4 contract from belows, and who knows if people what else they're playing, like I don't know, what's that red winds of change or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, maybe 2 canes are not enough, man. I don't know.
I think it's 1 cane in the main, 1 cane in the side. That way, because if you lose one, you can always pull one out of your sideboard. I'm also, for this league, I'm going to play at least 1 main Library of Lang. Because I think people are going to try and like flat mind twist people. Because you can play 4 mind twists now. So like a real deck could be 4 mind twists, 4 specters, 4 hymns. Like you could just play a discard deck and then rack people.
Well, my question is so basically at that point, it's almost going to be a little bit like a memory lapse or something, like those old school counter spells that put on top of your deck, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the situation where you want to have like 2 or 3 of your cards on top of your library rather than kind of drawing natural? Is that going to be worth it?
Well, I think it's a May ability. Let me look at the card real quick. I think you can almost kind of like pick and choose if you want to keep them on top or let them go.
Like, I guess the other way too is that you can kind of weaponize that a little bit with the contract, right? Because you can effectively keep, you don't have to go all the way down to 0 basically. So if you've got 3 good cards or 2 good cards, you can put those on top and redraw those when you discard.
Well, it also works because you don't have a maximum hand size. So you could draw your 7, and if you have extra draw effects, you can just keep drawing off of it. So
that's the format that you wish you had Megrim, right?
Yeah. So Library of Lang is a May ability. So if an effect causes you to discard a card, discard it, but you may put it on top of your library instead of into your graveyard. So you can basically use people's like discard it. Like if somebody mind twists you for 7 and you have 3 cards, you just don't want to fucking draw ever again or whatever, you can just put them in the graveyard, put the rest on top of your library, and you get to stack the order.
Yeah, and then the random discard doesn't affect that at all either. So there's no weirdness there, which is nice.
So because of the thing I'm playing in my main deck, I think I can get away with at least 1 library main and maybe 1 in the side. Like it's just like I think people are going to try and like turn 1 twist people. I think that's the play, right? Like that's your level 0 deck. People are going to be like, okay, because you could turn 1 ritual Soul Ring. Like if you have 2 rituals in a Soul Ring, you're good. If you have like 2 Soul Rings in a ritual, you're fine. And just get people.
That's really the only fast mana, because I don't think people are going to be rocking mana vaults in this, right?
No, I thought about it considering what I was going to play, but they're just so expensive. It's not worth losing 1.
So those of you who are listening to this, again, hi George, Eric, and hi Mario.
Yeah.
But if there happens to be a 4th person who does not know this anti-format, it's relatively pretty casual. I remember the one time I remember playing, I was playing Zombie Master Disc. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it's not like super, super spiky, and you can lose the card. In fact, there's, a decent chance. So there is that in play, but people tend not to risk the really expensive cards in this one. So it's more casual.
Yeah, it allows you to play like like this. I think like the social experiment in this one is it allows you to play within your budget, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you can build like a fairly broken deck fairly cheaply and a no ban list, no restricted. You don't. There's no reason to play power. There's just no reason, like, because there's nobody's going to risk a 3G card when you could just draw poorly.
And what's actually kind of interesting here, because me and Eric are like super pro proxy, but this
Yeah,
is one event where proxies are not allowed, and that's pretty rare from an event from either me or Eric. That's pretty rare, so that's interesting.
yeah. It's probably the one event where it's just not like one of the guys is going to play with like fucking Iceland basics. I don't give a shit, but like the this is the one event where you can't pull out one of the proxies. But we are going to talk about proxies because you have a couple in your white part of the cube, and I have. Let me look real quick. I gotta take a picture and post it, but I got four of the GeoCity proxies, and you have two, and your two are the same as two of mine.
So I think it makes sense to probably say that we're going to kind of transition the topic a little bit. So me and Eric, again, if you want to check out the anti event, they are a blast. Everybody in there is
Yeah,
super cool.
it's extremely chill. Like it's not people aren't really trying to win. I guess is what I would say. It's just people are gonna play some dumb shit.
Can you put the sign up link in the show notes here for the
Yeah,
podcast?
yeah.
Great. And then check out Eric on Twitter if the link, if that's something weird, just contact him on Twitter. But I think the link, or just message the Dissolve Deck Twitter if you can't reach us another way. And if you have time, go for it. If you need extra time to get some cards, just get a round one or double up or something. Super easy.
Yeah,
So
it's like six. If we have enough players, it's 6 rounds over 4 weeks. So we're gonna play basically from the beginning of February 1st ish to the 28th ish. If you need time to like finish out the games or whatever, I don't think we've ever finished one on time, so it'll be okay.
So
I'll just take this picture later.
okay, so going into the kind of cube talk. So and now Eric, you're now in the Pacific Northwest, but former and current and always future member of Alamo City Old School. How did Alamo City Old School get into cubing? Did you kind of infect us with this, or how did that kind of become in the ether?
So I think that we ended up on cubes because we've been playing. The most of us don't have like I think my collection's not great, but I mean it's like fairly depth for old school. And then I know your collection, because I've sorted all of it, is fairly deep as far as singles. But like a lot of guys that we play with only have like one deck. Like Jimmy's got a couple decks. Like he probably has the most decks out of all of us. But like I'm trying to think. Like most of the guys that we play with only have like maybe one or two decks, and those two decks are really just half of the deck variation. And so we were playing a lot of the same stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I would show up with some bullshit like green, white, red mid range. You have your black red deck. Fucking Jimmy would show up with mono white and the houses on deck, and it was basically just like we were playing the same stuff against each other. And then
And that's actually caused how most of our scene really got into old school. So basically, everybody was playing other formats,
yeah, we
and
all played Legacy.
yeah, it was mainly legacy players, and they're also playing modern and a little bit of EDH. And basically, what happened is that they built like a budget version of kind of a pet deck, and they sold all their cards and upgraded. So basically, they just sold four specific singles rather than having this giant old card collection that got grew out of. So it ended up being that everyone had just decks and not a whole lot of other random cards, right?
Yeah, I mean Jimmy went pretty deep on mono white. He's got a bunch of legends that he bought, like that he just wants to collect. And then I know where your collection's at right now and what you're deep on. And then I'd say mine. I mean, mine's deep in green, white, and red, but it's real fucking shallow in like blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's real shallow in white. Well, probably not that shallow, but fairly shallow. And so at the end of the day, we were just playing like kind of like the same decks against each other. And then I forget who was talking about it, but somebody was talking about cubes, and I was like, fuck, we could probably just build a cube. and I started looking online, and I'm not a very no. Here's what happened. I remember now. Spectral Chaos happened, and
That's
I was like,
where
oh, we should build a Spectral Chaos cube because that'll be fun just to tote around.
that's where it started. Yeah.
And that kind of died on the vine because I don't know how to actually build a cube with just one set. I was just going to print all the cards once, but that laid the idea down. And so what I did was I just stole Martin Berlin's, and I'll put a link to his cube in the show notes, of course. But I just like literally Googled like old school cube, and Gordon Anderson has his posted, but it's basically just Swedish legal, and it had a bunch of like multiples, whereas Martin's has like it's all singles minus a couple lands, like all the duels there's doubles of, and like obviously factories there's four ofs, but all of his colored cards are singles, so there's like a wide swath of them, and so it looked pretty decent. So I took his list and just started buying the cards for 25 cents a piece. And then you had everything that I didn't have, you basically had. I think I literally spent $10 for like, I'm not joking, probably like 52 cards of like just some Chronicles shit that we just needed. And that was it. So that's how the first cube happened.
We had to meet up, and I think you gave me like a printed out list or something with like highlighters on it or crayon or something.
Yeah, it was like a 6-page list of just printed out stuff because I was like, oh, I probably have one of those laying around. And then you were ended up, I don't know why you were doing that, but you had a bunch of singles that like literally like nobody else would like. You have a CE giant, two-headed giant, one of just sitting in there.
Oh, well, so there's actually a reason that from that. So Chalice 2 years ago. So there was one of the events was Singleton, and I'd never touched Singleton before, but obviously, I mean, it was one of the events that was there at that event or one of the sub events or whatever. So I had to build a Singleton deck, and I built and so I kind of got into that thinking for that, and I built a super shitty wall deck, and not like a cool wall deck that has like wall tricks or like like I buff them up with glyphs and then
just
roll
walls.
them at you with a sword or something. Now it was like I'm gonna be obnoxious with walls, and I think my only kill conditions were like fireball and like disintegrate or something.
As you do.
The funny thing is that Andy from the Andy Baccaro from the Sisters basically built the same shitty wall deck. And we ended up facing each other at the bottom table, which was hilarious. And somebody came up and they said, hey, can you guys finish this? Can you guys hurry along a little bit? Because you guys are going to go to time and we're trying to finish this. And I said, no, I'm sorry, bro. We can't go faster. And the guy was kind of offended, as in, come on, dude, be cool. Like it's a cool weekend. I'm like, nah, man, we just don't have the ability. I'm like, here, just watch a little bit. And he's looking down. He realizes it's just a bunch of like, there's like wall of ice and
you're playing fast. It's just going slow.
And like the butthole regenerator wall and stuff, And then I'm like, okay, draw, land, go. He goes, draw, land, go. Draw, land, wall, go. Draw, land, go. Draw, land, wall, go. Draw, land, wall. He's like, oh my God. And he just walked off and kind of like disgust.
I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just how it's going to be.
So that got me into Singleton, and I thought it was cool because I was also getting a little bit bored of having the same play experience. When you're trying to build a deck, it's really hard to keep it janky. You're going to start to move to 4 of each card, and it's cool to have this kind of fun thing. And I wanted to play with like the two-headed giant. Like I never had a reason to touch that card before, so I wanted to play with these cards that were cool but never appealed to me in a deck that I wanted to, I guess, function, air quotes here. So I started building a red Singleton deck and a white Singleton deck, and I was starting on a green one. So that's why I ended up already having a decent base for the cube. That's why I had weird cards.
And so literally, between the two of us, we had inherently all the cards to do this, minus like Moat, for instance. But we can have like a long conversation about how you print proxies for cubes. And honestly, the GeoCities guys have it figured out. So I'll put a link to their website in the show notes, but like you can just do it from there.
And then maybe a future episode we can go into detail of what we'll call it maybe hacking old school Magic a little bit. Some of the options here.
Yeah, I mean, we can run through it. I just got the message from MPC, which is where it's makeplayingcards.com. Just type in mpc.com into Google. They just started sending me the last bits I need to finish out I needed like 6 well, there's a little bit of specialty cards I needed that I had to get, like there was just no other option except for to print them. So those are on their way. So hopefully this thing will be finished before March so that we can play it in person.
So also you don't need to go that route. So Eric is going fancy with
Yeah.
the printing the cards. So what I did is for this deck photo for white, there was I had like a couple of cards that were still in the mail. I think it was like a Greater Realm of Preservation I never ended up having. And,
Yeah, because why would you have that card?
yeah, I play more aggressive decks. I think you need a more controlling deck for this kind of card. But and then there were a couple of the GeoCity proxies, and like I needed Jihad, and the GeoCities guys haven't done one of Jihad, so I just grabbed an image. But I
Yeah.
printed on a sheet of paper, cut it out, put it in a sleeve with a card. And for right now, that's good enough. So you can figure out how janky you want to do it. If you want to print out on actual cardstock, which I would like to do with the GeoCities in the future, or a sheet of paper in a let's see what card is back here. This is a Hornet Cobra. So up
Yeah.
to you.
And honestly, it looks the same. Like whenever we first played the cube before I moved, all of the all the legendary, like the Angus Mackenzie, which is somehow a $500 fucking card, was just a printout on a basic.
We love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing EDH. I just don't understand like why Angus Mackenzie is five. Like it's not even. I don't know. I don't think it's even a good commander, but apparently it is.
I think the base price of probably like 250 is just because what set it's from.
Yeah, I got that part.
Playability. I'd be curious. I mean, how much more is it than the other legends or something? But I think the bulk of the issue is the edition, and people are seeing that it's rare and it's shiny. I mean, it's not shiny, but it's shiny, right? And then there's people thinking somebody else might want that, so let me buy it now and hoard it for a little bit. It's
yeah, it's something else. And like I refuse to order those legends in Italian because like the one thing I said for this deck was I wanted all the cards to be in English or like they're like mainstay cards. Like if the balance isn't in English, that's fine, right? Like, but like Greater Realms of Preservation probably needs to be in English because then we don't know what the fuck it does otherwise, right? Like, so the whole point was like, fine, like make sure everything was in English first. That was like step one. For cards like Personal Incarnation, which has a paragraph of text on it, still don't know what it does, but people need to be able to read them. So like it's fine, like if you have like if your Spectre is like in Italian or whatever, right? Like who cares? Everybody knows what Hypnotic Spectre does.
A lot of those legends are also vanilla, right? If you don't care about the flavor text, that's something to think about. Because I personally, and it could be, I'm sure a lot of people have the opposite opinion, but I actually like Italian legends more than legends because I like how the print is. I like the font is smaller. I like the print quality. I mean, it was printed a couple years after.
Yeah.
I've always preferred the look of Italian rather than English.
It's fine for like Jasmine Borealis and shit like that, where it's like literally just a vanilla 4/5. I think it's fine. But if you have like fuck, what is this card? Hold on, I'm gonna pull it out real quick. Like Umezawa, whatever. Like I have no idea what that card does. Hold on. Let's see. Here's one. Do you know what the card Gwendolyn whatever, this one? The Gwendolyn card? Yeah, what does that card do? Exactly.
Yeah, no. It's something with tapping with a smaller creature. I think it like keeps it tapped or kills it. It's funny,
no,
I know the story.
You tap to discard a card.
So I know the story of the model, which is really funny because it was like a punk rocker grunge band from Seattle. And Gwendolyn was actually the singer of this band, and it's called Gwendolyn for Her. And this chick would like be on stage in bra and panties with like a strap on. And the artist was friends with her, and then that's why the card's named Gwendolyn, and it does look like her. But I know this, but I don't know what the fucking card does.
Yeah. Target player discards one card from his or her hand at random. This power may only be used during your turn. Got it.
I think it had something to do with either trapping or killing a creature because she's stabbing that dude. So I thought it had something to do with that. I guess not.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah.
It's Legend spoiler season here on the podcast today. The so
Always.
that's why I was like, okay, I want all my
Sure.
cards to be in English. So that's like one of the restrictions I put on myself. But otherwise, kind of left it wide open.
I guess for me, restriction wise, I guess I could say is I got what I thought is cool editions if I thought the price justified it. If I
Yeah,
could
that's fair.
discount, yeah, for me, cool editions are unlimited, are CE, and then I like German. It's my first language, so I like black border or white border. The German form ones are sweet. I'm not huge into alpha beta so much. I actually kind of like unlimited more, and I'm also a big alt fourth guy. So if that card is reasonable, 4, 7, maybe $15 depending on, I'm totally cool with getting the cool edition. Just to get the card, a lot of them are in fourth edition, as in I just need to get the card, kind
Yeah,
of deal.
that's where most of mine are at.
I stole a list online. I don't remember the name of it, but I can give you the link later so we can include in the show notes. And it is an old school list. So the list that you had before from Berlin, I didn't really like it. And this is going to sound like I'm talking shit. I really don't mean to at all. The list that I saw from that, I had the feeling that it was made from someone who played back in the day, but didn't play modern old school. Because, and I don't remember specific examples now, but I felt like cards that were not considered good back in the day, but are really good now, were not in the cube.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have. We were talking. It doesn't have like this. The original Cube Nine doesn't have Falling Star. It doesn't have. There was like a couple other cards it just didn't have.
Yeah, that I
But
thought were
off the top of my head, Falling Star was like the one I was like, oh, we got to throw one of those in.
yeah. So the list that I saw had those cards that I liked, and it does have multiples of some cards to try to,
Yeah.
and it's very strategic, and I liked it. Not every color. It seems to try to balance the colors out a little bit. Like white, when we look at the list, there's 3 Savannah Lions, and there's some other ones, and I feel how it's balanced. I think it seems good to me. I have already made a few changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the picture. So Eric, I guess, do you want to start discussing mine, and then we can post the picture on the show notes, and people can kind of follow along.
Yeah, I'll post the picture to our Twitter account for this podcast, and then I'll also post it to like one of the picture websites that I posted something else to. But yeah, so like the major difference between yours and mine is we're all okay. So both of us are playing all the white cards that you would know about, right? Like Moat, Sarah Angel, Jihad, Wrath of God, Spirit Link, Savannah Lions. Like if it's like a white card that you've seen somebody play, we got it in here.
Yeah.
And I set all those aside, right? So that's like probably 30-ish cards or so.
Yeah.
And then the difference between yours and mine is you have multiples. So you have 3
Yes.
Savannah Lions, 2 Disenchants, 2 Samite Healers,
Super
2 Acacian, some fighter bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Swords of Plowshares, and your Preacher is a Pog, or at least a cutout of a Pog. 2
Yeah.
Crusades. So I think like the themes of our white like wedge or whatever you want to call it are the same, right? It's like one like your good normal good white cards, but then also having like like I call it the occasion flavor, where you have like a bunch of 1/1s and shit.
Well, at least my cube, what I've noticed that it's very, it tries to make creature themes, and that's why there's
Yeah.
doubles. So there's it pushes a merfolk theme, it pushes a goblin orc theme, and it
Yeah,
pushes
the red is Goblin Works.
and it needs multiples to kind of make that work. Now, it's this cube is very heavy creature focused, and I really like that because I think that, as we all know, these early sets are very spell heavy and creature light
Yep.
as far as quality. And if you keep that kind of ratio or that philosophy, you're never ending games. So I like, so it's almost like for each color, I'm like you have to have a reason to take a creature out from that color. I think it should be as creature heavy as focused as possible. And I like the doubling up because some of the creatures are such garbage. The green moss monsters in there, like that made it,
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I think maybe mine's more creature focused than yours, and it tries to force tribes and themes.
So yeah, so mine, I have 170 total creatures in the deck or in the cube, and then of the 170, 29 of those creatures are white. So it's of like, I think I have 29, 30, let's just call that 40. I have just under 50 or just over 50 white cards in the cube. The total size of, I should say, my total size of this cube is 360, which is like, that's enough for 8 players to have 3 packs of 15. Which is probably the max amount of people you're going to get to play an old school cube. So there's no reason to like make like a 720 or something like that.
You don't have a picture of your white cards right now, do you?
I don't have a picture. I just have the.
Okay.
I can send you the list, but the I forgot to take a picture today. So it's 20. I mean, it's like the creatures are what you would expect, right? Like it's all the good creatures from Fallen Empires through Alpha. So I got like Occasion Javenirs, like every occasion card's in here. Repentant Blacksmiths,
Do you have
Orders.
the Lego sphere for tokens?
I don't have the Lego spears for tokens. I am getting some custom tokens made for this cube.
Oh,
Spear, yeah.
Because if you want the Lego spears, I can always send you because I bought extras. Like whenever I'd go to tournaments and I saw people using Javeliers, I would just pass out Lego spears. But if you're getting custom ones,
I'm getting custom token made for the majority of this cube because like I got a Rook token on the way. I needed some for.
We're not talking about like objects, right?
No, cards. I want all mine to fit into that white box that I brought the cube around in.
Oh, I was thinking kind of like objects as counters, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So I gotta have enough room for like fit all these cards in this one thing.
Because I was gonna say, hey, I finally figured out 3D printing, so we could do like trike arms and custom spears and shit like that.
We're gonna save the 3D printing talk for our other podcast where we talk about 3D printing other things.
And we're going to talk about the other club, the other activity Alamo City Old School is a part of. We've always made the joke that we're basically a gun club that plays old school on the side. So,
if you're not 3D printing your own guns, you're just not living. You
got like freedom or what?
Yeah, do you not like having your own gun without a serial number? I don't know. Do it now before it becomes illegal. But yeah, so 3D print, yeah. So yes, you can 3D print stuff. I need to buy a new 3D printer. I sold mine before I moved out here, but I'm gonna get all mine tokens made and send them off to NPC and get them sent back. So I'm gonna talk to Cam about making me some tokens for like I need some like weird shit. So
hey, would you mind like let me see what you're making? Maybe if I can get in on that.
Yeah. I'll send you the pictures.
That'd be dope.
I'm basically just gonna commission Cam to like. I'll be like, hey, this is like the things I need. Make me some make me some sketches, send them to me, and I'll make cards out.
Oh, that's cool.
I just gotta talk. I haven't talked to him about that unless he listens.
Yeah. Shout out to him, or we'll call him Big Mark. Maybe I always made the joke that I'm Skinny Cam.
I haven't seen Cam in a minute. We're gonna see him on webcam here soon. See what he looks like. See how he's doing. He'll be shirtless, so we'll know. We'll have a good idea.
100%. Yeah, in the winter in Portland. Yeah, he'll be shirtless now. Yep.
Factual.
So with the white cube stuff, what do you think is the best way to maybe discuss discussing each card, or maybe talking about maybe just surprises or weirdness, and just kind of like our impressions of the other list, or going each one?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, there's no reason to go card to card. I mean, some of these cards like really don't matter. I would say like, so the stats on the white part of my cube is 29 creatures, 10 enchantments, 5 instants, 6 sorceries. So it's really creature heavy, and which is what you would expect out of white, right? So, the kind of cool cards in here.
Yeah. I was thinking like cool cards, or maybe what you would think would be the unexpected cards, or maybe kind of if it's a pet card to you, if you've added it, or maybe just what you think is unique, and then I can talk about my list with the the same criteria.
Yeah, I think so. On the white side, the cool cards, I'll pull out a couple cards that I thought were cool whenever I was just going through and you'll be able to see these in the pictures. Some of these are just cool because of art. Some of these are cool just because I think they'll be interesting to play with inside the game. But Knights of Thorn, that just goes in there for the artwork. It's 4 for a 2/2. It's got protection from red and banding. None of that really matters. The artwork is class A. That's one of my favorite cards from the white section. I got this Moorish Cavalry signed by the artist Damian Willich, and he says this is his favorite artwork that he made for Magic.
Is Damien, remind me, is he going to be there at the Firewalk with me?
I don't remember. At the end of this episode, I'll look up and see who's going to be there.
Also, yeah, heads up if you don't know, in March of this year, it's the Trolls, right? You guys, the Trolls putting it up?
Yeah, I mean, really, Sean Sullivan's like I think doing like the majority of the planning and execution, but yeah, it's under the Trolls.
Okay, so it's going to be a Twin Peaks themed Magic event at the location, at the town and stuff. So that's what we're talking about. So if you don't know, find the Trolls, find Eric, and then they can give you the info.
Yeah, I put links in the last episode we did, and I will put those links again in the bottom part. But it'll be a good event. It'll be Mark's going to be there. I'm already going to be there. I just signed off of work for that. So, Hand of Justice. This card is interesting because if you go heavy white in this cube, you can actually make this work. The artwork's pretty decent, but it's
tap, isn't it?
A little bit. He's got like the weird like fucking like twisted out mustache, but if you tap 3 target white creatures, you can destroy any target creature. Like underplayed, but in white in this deck and these cubes, you can make that happen. Divine Transformation, easy beater. That's an easy pickup. Island Sanctuary. I have we'll talk artifacts, but mine's a power cube, so I have proxies of all the power in here. But I think Island Sanctuary plays really well with Howling Mine because you can skip your Howling Mine trigger and just draw a card. You still get the effect of Island Sanctuary without the loss of card draw. There is a moat in here as well, but if you can't get the moat, the Island Sanctuary works basically the same anyhow. And then I guess one of my goals is at some point to cast a Personal Incarnation because it's 3 and 3. And I mean, you're never going to cast this card outside of a cube. So those are kind of like the highlights of the white section. The rest of mine is pretty standard stuff that you would find.
I was just thinking moat. Most of my white creatures, so there's a bunch of like 1/1s and small creatures. They don't fly. I'm actually thinking moat might be I guess put it in there. I mean, it's kind of like you want to splash the white, you don't want to do the creature plan. Yeah.
It's just in there to be in there. Yeah, you're right. Like most of your creature suite and my creature suite are very similar. There's like maybe 3 flyers. The Wall of Swords, the Thunder Spirit, which do you have an English or an Italian one? Mine's just a proxy. I just printed one out.
I actually really like this one. It's a HP English, and it's actually special to me because it's one of I think it might be the only card that I had still from high school. And when I was a sophomore or junior or something, I traded a Tundra for this. And that's
almost an even trade.
Yeah, and back then it was actually a really good one because you never saw Legends cards and stuff. So I ended up giving that to a friend like a long time ago. And then they heard that I started playing again. They gave me all my cards back. I ended up getting that Thunder Spirit back. So I got this high school card back. So it's an English HP.
Nice. Yeah. I debate whether I'd buy an English HP at this time to replace the proxy. I like the artwork. We'll see. It's not that complicated of a card where I need to like.
Well, Geocity Suppress, they have a Thunder Spirit that looks really handsome. Maybe just use that one.
Maybe. Yeah. That's what I have in there right now.
Because I actually like theirs better than the real cards.
You like that one better than the real card? That's fair.
No, I like almost all of theirs better than playing with the real actual Magic card. I would rather play with theirs,
I think the artwork is good on it. And it's like part of the problem with some of the proxies that they have up is like they have proxies up for some of the legends and stuff, or like I don't know what Argivian Archaeologist. Learning to read today. I have no idea what this card does, but I have a GeoCities like proxy of it.
Yeah,
But
same.
I might replace this with something else.
I forget the activation cost, right? I think it's 2 white and 2, but it's take an artifact from the graveyard, put it on top of your library, I believe. But I forget the activation card. I have the same property.
Yeah. And so I like, while this is like really good, high quality, like I like having this proxy, I don't know what the card does. So
Have you thought about just writing on there?
yeah, that would ruin all the good artwork. Have you seen my handwriting?
Yeah.
I thought maybe writing it on the back or something like that, but we'll see. But yeah, so the only flyers in white for me, I have a Sarah Angel, a Mesa Pegasus, I have a Thunder Spirit, and that Wall of Swords. I think that's it for my flyers in white. So Moat is really just in there because Moat's a classic old school card. It doesn't even really. I don't even. I mean, I'd have it in a white deck. I'd obviously snatch it up so somebody else could take it, but.
Well, I guess you could always splash that with some of the other control cards, like Armageddon and Wrath of God and stuff, if you want to be like that,
Yeah, and I have all those. You have those in your deck. I have those in my deck. So there's all those generic good white cards are here. So
I guess maybe let me highlight some of the cards I think are maybe kind of unique or cool.
Yeah.
In here, one pet card I really have is Abu Jafar. That was not in the original list. I love Abu Jafar a lot. I think it's underrated, and I think the art is one of the best ones.
And you have a signed copy. Actually, let me make a note. I'm probably I might replace my Archaeologist with an Abu. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the Archaeologist could be really, really good if you have enough artifacts to kind of support that. I mean, think about Chaos Orbing something every turn,
Yeah.
So I think it can make it. I think it has such a unique kind of like gameplay or unique things that you can do with it, or the aerial pile, right, where you can like use it every turn. I'm sure there's better uses.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's unique enough where you don't make that swap.
Okay, that's fair.
The other ones in here that I really like is I like Blaze of Glory, especially with like Abu Jafar. I didn't see Blaze of Glory on the list. It's more maybe niche or something, but I think it's super dope. I just put in Righteousness, actually. I took out like Red Ward. I guess the original Cube Builder was kind of afraid of red, but I like Righteousness. I mean, it's a beating. People don't expect it, +7/+7 is freaking awesome.
It's a good combat trick.
Yeah, 100%. There's Army of Allah and Jihad and 2 Crusades. It's very heavy on the pump effects. I like that. I used to play a white weenie deck like that back in the day. And let's see. I like that there's a reverse damage. That's a really fun gotcha card. And then more standard stuff. David Hasselhoff's in there.
Yep, I got David too.
King Suleiman, I think, is really cool in here. And then
I have that and I put it in.
Yeah.
Only because I have one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's easily one that is expensive that doesn't need to be in the white cube. I think you can get away without it.
And this one here is actually pretty special to me. I was at GP Vegas when they did that the old school event, and it was a really kind of a feel bad because of the non-old schoolers that are playing old school, but whatever. There's so many super cool people there, and I ended up doing pretty good. I think I got like 4-1 or 5-1. So I did decent, and I didn't have quite enough tickets to get something cool, but there was a King Suleiman, and it was kind of out of my reach a little bit. And so a bunch of the deep spawners gave me their tickets, especially Brian Urbano. He gave me enough tickets to get that King Suleiman, and then we had oh my God, I'm blanking on names now.
Nick was there. I just saw a picture of you guys recently from that event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe after the redo, we'll just leave that alone. But I think Nick won after the redo. There's a picture of you, Nick, Brian. There's a bunch of dudes in that pick. It was a bunch of the deep spawners. You were in the very far right hand side of it.
Yeah, Sexy John was there. And,
yeah, John Sexton was there. Yep.
So this King Suleiman that my spawner buddies helped me get with tickets. We had an offsite event and it was by, oh my God, man, I'm blanking on names here. I'm so sorry. But really cool offsite event. And then Anson was there. So he ended up doing a Posca altar of a Serendip head, a severed Serendip head, which is super dope. I mean, he didn't do the art for Suleyman, but he did Serendip Freet. And then I was joking because he signed it on the side too. I was joking that because at the actual convention at Vegas, Poole was there and I should get it double signed. He's like, yeah, totally. And tell Mark, that it's a little bit of a fun thing. So I got Mark Poole and Anson to sign that same card. So that's kind of a fun one.
Yeah, you could say it might be one of a kind. You could say that. I think you need to talk about the Preacher. That was okay. Can we just talk about how Pogs was such a short-lived, but like it burned real bright for like about 3 months, and then everybody laid off of it, minus like 2 people.
Well, so Bob, Evil Mailman up in Pittsburgh, I think that he basically was the driver behind the whole Pog thing, and he was kind of like a one man, I don't know, theme or one man.
I mean, he made a Pog deck, like a deck completely Pog cut.
Yeah, so this was So what we're talking about here, if you don't see it, second from the bottom row, there is a Preacher with a hole cut in it, and it is Pog shaped, and basically the art is missing, is what it is. And so what he did is, this was pre-pandemic for the Players Ball. He made a white weenie deck, including Preachers, including Thunder Spirits, including Caracas, and he cut out all the art for Pogs, and then he was going to play the deck with big holes cut in the cards and go for the creative award. That ended up not happening, and then he got a little tired of waiting, and so then he gave some of these cards away or something. So I got that from him.
That's pretty, yeah.
I also got a white bordered Caracas from him stamped. That was fun.
Nice. I guess I should mention I also have a Caracas in the cube. I mean, it's a land, but really it's a white card. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I think that does it from my end with regards to white. I think whenever you compare my picture with your picture, you got a lot more signed cards on yours. But I think that's probably like the sub thing I'm going to try and get done with this cube is get as much of it signed as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's not going to be possible because people aren't alive anymore, but I'm going to start working on getting some of this shit signed out, even if it's just like a 4th edition.
Yeah, I like signed cards, and I like club stamps, and I like signed by friends or or that kind of stuff. I do have some extras copies of this. Like I have I think a 4th edition Sarah with a sketch on it and stuff. I can totally give you that stuff.
Oh, the Sarah I have in here is the double sign. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta talk about that Sarah.
This one, the double sign one, the Weissman double sign. You gave me this card. It's a German Sarah Angel signed by Douglas Schuler, of course, on the bottom, classic signature. And then also signed by Brian Weissman above it. I'd like to say this is a pre-Las Vegas event.
Yes.
I'll also say that
this is a GP Seattle, like the 25th anniversary one or whatever that was.
I mean, apparently Brian like stops out and plays with guys. Like I was when I went to one of the first meetups here in the Seattle area. Apparently he shows up every now and then to play. So yeah, interesting.
Well, when I met him, he was a very, very nice person who took time to chit chat and talk about the deck and stuff. And I got his autograph there. And then whatever weirdness happened like 3 years after that, or 2 years after, whatever it was. Yeah.
I mean, all the Sarah Angels I have in the deck I'm going to play for the Havenwood event on the 30th of January is their double signed Schuler Weissmans.
Nice.
I think they're like gold signatures too. You either gave me or I bought those cards from you. So I don't think I've ever actually bought a Sarah Angel.
I showed up to that event where I met him and got that signed. My deck was rubber banded in a Ziploc bag, and I carried it in my Texas fanny pack. That's how I showed up to that event.
That's how you carry decks, is in a Ziploc bag. That's
with rubber bands
showing up.
Yeah. So I guess you wanna kind of wrap this up. You wanna kind of call this first episode of talking about the Ante League and kind of like showcasing the white color for the cube builds.
Yeah, and by the time we get to the next one of these episodes, the Annie League will be started, so I can just tell you all about the deck because I'm fair. Like I'll probably end up posting it to the internet. Just like I'll say this, like if when I run my own leagues and stuff like that, I prefer to be as like transparent as possible, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to like win a bunch of Annie cards. And if you pay attention to the last league I played in, I literally think I lost like half my deck to Annie. So that worked out well. Anyhow, yeah. So the Annie League starts on the 30th. If you want to join the Annie League, just send me a message on any platform. I'll get you joined up.
Or if you
Upcoming,
get confused, message me and I'll get it to Eric.
yeah, upcoming events. The Derby is halfway done. We're in batch 2. Havenwood 3. Let me just pull up my email real quick. Havenwood 3 is on the 29th, I believe, of January. That's a one-day event run by DFB.
That's online?
That's
Yeah.
all online. Let me just go down and make sure I got the right. It's Atlantic Rules. Yeah, Havenwood 3, Saturday, January 29th. Start. It's capped at 128 players, 7 rounds Swiss. It apparently will start at noon Eastern time. That'll be a good event. So
Should I register with the all strip mine deck? But I think Dave knows my shit. He'll probably screen me out first.
just play. I'm gonna play red, white, green. That mid-range red, white, green deck I've been building. I'm gonna play that with like a singleton sideboard.
Yeah.
You should play your new red, black deck and put more Maze of Ith in there. Dude, Maze of Ith is a fucking ball. It's an underplayed card. So if we were to talk about cards that are underplayed, Maze of Ith, it is in the Derby. It has like won me games where I'd be like singleton Maze of Ith. People just couldn't fucking deal with it.
Well, how about we save that so we have some more content and we can talk about maybe in next episode or maybe not next or one of them. We can talk about my red black deck. You can see it looks like a real deck until you realize that there's like 3 falling stars and like a bunch of meek stones and royal assassins in it. It looks real until you see that section. In fact, old school Dan, I sent it to him. He's like, "Oh my god, he built a real deck, awesome." He's like, "Never mind, I saw the 3 falling stars made."
But Falling Star is a good card. Like, first off, I don't want.
Let's save it for that one. We can talk about how terrible of a deck builder I am at that.
Look, all I'm saying is if you're not playing a 4 strip mine format, I don't. You can talk about your decks all you want and your sweet mana bases and shit, but like if you're not playing against 4 strip mines, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind playing 1 strip mine events. I don't.
Yeah.
But it's like when I go skiing, right? Like I'm a pretty good skier. I like to ski like deep, like steep, like dangerous ass skiing, right? I love it. And then that's like 4 strip mines. And then there's 1 strip mine, which is like, oh, I'm gonna go to the resort and I'm gonna like go down the bunny hills. But I'm gonna talk about it as if I was like getting heloed into like an Alaska range. Like that's how like I think people talk about 1 strip mine formats. They're like, oh, it's so fucking epic with my perfect mana base, 27 restricted card deck. And they're really just a dude going down a green slope. That's what I think about 1 strip mine formats. It really is.
It's funny coming from Texas. We've seen the other extreme too. So we sometimes do play with more than 4 strip mines.
It's beatable. It's beatable.
And yeah, well, one of our last meetups before you left, I think I didn't tell you what deck I was playing, and I switched to Oops all strip mines. In fact, I even mulliganed down to like 5 cards to sell it a little bit more. And then of course, and then I didn't play all my strip mines right away. I made it seem like I didn't have enough land. So I think that I stretched it out to about like 7 minutes before you realized what was happening. And then we went for it, and it really, like, the game took like 25 minutes for you to kill me, 30 minutes or something. Like
it did because I had to go find 2 Moxes and a Soul Ring in the deck. Because you can't, like, the problem with all strip mines is that
we were not decking at that point, weren't we?
We were counting libraries to see who, because I was like, oh, I have 3 lands left in the deck, and like I play 26 or 28 lands. Like I play a appropriate amount for 4 strips.
And 60 strips main, 15 sides is what I was playing.
Absolutely, 100. I'm just saying it's beatable.
Oh yeah,
Easily.
I've never won a game with it, so
Exactly. So like the boogeyman doesn't exist is all I'm saying. Like people like think there's a boogeyman, it doesn't exist. So okay. Okay, so Havenwood 3 is coming up.
Yep.
Let me look up the Emerald City. Let me look up that event.
Firewalk with me.
Firewalk with Me is the title of the event. That's also the title of a movie related to Twin Peaks. So when you Google that, you need to type in something
I think
else.
it might make more sense just to go to the Seattle old school
There,
course website, right?
yes, it would absolutely make sense to do that, which is what I just did. So I can click on upcoming events. All right, so the Firewalk with Me event is Friday, March 18th through and Saturday, March 19th. So guys will probably fly in Friday morning, Thursday night, and then fly out Sunday-ish. The reason you want to be here on Friday is because there will be a special event called the Black Lodge, which is a themed event. So Friday, cool themed event. The rules are so intricate that you just have to go look at them. I can't explain them.
There's special cards.
They're
and
special cards and they're themed, and it's going to be cool. I'm going to play red white, and then Saturday is just a regular pack old school event, which will also be good. I think
Yeah,
all my friends are coming out, so that's nice.
yeah,
But that'll be a good event.
yeah, I've got tickets for it now, but considering the times that we live in, there could be changes. So it's one of those keep your attention to it, keep your ears out. That doesn't make sense. It's not a saying, but it is subject to change just with how things are going. So it may happen, may not. We hope. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see what happens here. Because it's Washington State, which is not Texas, by the way. Let me tell you
Yeah,
all about it.
it is not.
It's not. It's not. Anyhow, so that event's happening. The Deep Spawners have an event called Risk that is coming up this summer, I believe in April.
That's going to be at Palm Springs at Golf Resort. It's going to be extremely baller. And
extremely baller.
Time there's going to be Pippin. Why I call him Pippin? Pepin. Okay, Chris Pepin. He's going to have a Jeep adventure tour in the what desert is it? Mojave?
Probably. Who knows?
Whatever desert. He told me about it. It sounds super, super sick, but limited availability. So he got some desert adventure stuff with Jeeps, golf course stuff, and the really, really fancy resorts. And this is one where, couples and significant others definitely encouraged to come.
Yeah, it's 8th through the 9th. I'll put the link down in the show notes, but if you just Google Deep Spawners, it'll show up. Their website is really professional looking, which kind of makes sense. But they lay out all of the stuff they're going to do. So that'll be a good event. There's one more event I want to talk about. It's the one in Gettysburg. And these are all kind of pending whatever's going to happen with the Rona.
So this is GloryCon. Is this 3?
GloryCon 2. 2. I think it's 2. Hold on. Pretty sure it's 2. Anyhow, that I believe is in May.
I heard amazing things about that last one. I did not go to that one.
Neither did I. It is in where I grew up at, which is Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I'm from that area. GloryCon 2 is going to be in person February 19th, which is a lot closer than I thought it was. Oh. He said details to sign up mid-November. I have not seen those details, so maybe that has changed. I'll maybe send him a message and see what happens.
And then will you be able to put the sign-up link in the
There's no sign-up link yet. That's what
gotcha.
Yeah, he said they put it out mid-November, but it's January, so we'll see how that goes.
Do they have a website, or what's the best way to get that info?
It's just on Twitter. I will retweet it from this old deck account so that you can see it. But Mike France at ATOG67 is his Twitter handle. But he's the guy who runs that stuff. So I heard last year was amazing. I wanted to go out this year.
Amazing, like buffet or something served lunch.
Yeah. I might be working that weekend. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but that's the plan anyhow. But yeah,
Um,
that's all the events I know about as of right now.
And then with the cube, we'd love to hear some feedback. We're going to post both lists. So we're going to go by color and artifact and land and stuff. We definitely want your feedback. Please, if you have some ideas or whatever the case is, just hit us up, respond to this whole deck. We're starting to our Twitters. I'm Super Cobra 82. Eric, which one?
On Twitters, I am Eric Martin 242.
And then the other Eric Martin is Random Guy, right?
Yeah, his is. Hold on, I'll just look. I'm on Twitter right now, of course.
Yeah. Because we have
His
two Eric
is
Martins in the group, and sometimes we all change our name to it. So
quite a lot of Eric Martins in this group.
yes.
I don't know what. Oh, there it is. His is Random Guy 1017.
Is it Eric's Martins or what's the plural?
It's the Eric's Martins. It's
The Eric's Martins.
the Eric's Martins. There's an S on both of them.
The Eric's Martins. Yeah. Okay. Fair. Checks out.
2 apostrophes, 2 S's.
Oh, I like it.
Yep, it's real.
Now, throwing a dollar sign, you got me hooked.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right, dude.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we did it. We did it. We made an episode.
Yeah, we did, right? It's been a little bit.
I know. It's been a hot minute. We'll definitely do an in-person episode when you come out in March. And then we'll figure some out stuff. But all right. So next color, do you have blue ready to talk about yet?
Let's just say yes, and if I don't, then it won't be blue.
Okay. I need one extra. I need one episode just to talk about the Spectral Chaos cards I printed to. That's like the real spice of my cube, right? It's Spectral Chaos, but we'll talk about that. Anyhow. All right. Let's stop recording.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. See you next episode.
Yep, next month.
Stripping and orbing and all that good stuff.
Yep, that's right. 4 strips.